Morning everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to take care of an issue with the suspension. Found this one out at the dunes last time. Ripped a front strut bushing on the driver's side. I think this might also be the reason for the really bad tire wear I've been having for the last year. Let's take a look. I've already swapped the front driver's side tire out. Notice the really bad wear here on the inside of the tire. Tire tread depth marker is gone on the inside versus the outside. Note that I did do an alignment when I lifted the truck and everything looked good at the time. And here's what we found after the beach run. Driver's side front bushing mount completely separated. You can see the struts come up about 3/4 of an inch above the bushing. And it's also clearly off center. For reference, here's the passenger side. This is what it's supposed to look like. Metal cap close to the bushing and perfectly centered. I started using wheel chocks all the time when I work now. It's an extra precaution. I have found out the hard way that when you forget to leave your parking brake on or your trucking gear, you might find it rolled across the street into the neighbor's yard. You might. I'm not saying that happened. After we've unbolted the top, all we need to do is pull the strut towards us, start compressing it by hand, and the bushing pops right out. While I'm under here, it's always a good idea to take a look at the brakes and the seals, make sure everything's dry, rotor surfaces are nice and smooth, and you should be able to see there's plenty of life left on those pads. Also, boots, everything seems dry. No leaks in the calipers. Here's the new bushings, the KYBs. I'll put the part number in the description. I really like the KYB shocks to the back, so why not choose them for the bushings as well? Pretty sure I've identified the cause of my tire wear. New bushings on the left, old one here on the right. So obviously it's completely torn. But look how badly worn that thing is. It's been like this for a while. Now we'll put the new bushing on top of the strut and extend it. And this is easier to do if you look from the top. There we go. In. I will come back and hand tighten these to ensure I've got torque. I like the 1/4 inch ratchet, but I don't think it has the torque I want to put on these. And the cap, notice there is a notch on that. Line that up. Caps appear to have a nice big octagonal pattern on them. They may be adjustable. These are the OEM struts. I'm not sure, but I have made sure not to turn the top of the strut while I'm doing this work. Lock washer, and the nylock nut back on the top. And there she is. Time to put it back on the ground, and I'll torque everything up. Passenger side is going to be a very similar operation, but first we have to remove the fuse box mount directly above the passenger side strut. Love these little magnetic parts and screw holders. Perfect for clumsy guys like me. It's also a good time to take a look at the strut extenders came with my BDS kit. You see they're the same diameter as the piston. They just add the 2.5 inches here to the top of the strut. Oops. Here's the passenger side bushing. Well, it isn't torn out. You see there's really deep cracks, and definitely time to replace this one as well. Let's torque everything up. And we're effectively done, except for putting the fuse box mount back on. Gotta say, that took like 20 minutes. It's a lot easier than I thought it was gonna be. And the search begins. Highly recommended magnet on a stick and the flashlight. Never would have been able to reach that one. This last screw is a bit of a pain to get into. So I'm just going to put a little bit of masking tape at the end of the screw to hold it in my socket. And no drama this time. As soon as you drop the truck down off the jacks, you notice it sits with heavy camber. This is an artifact of the Strut front suspension. So just going to quickly drive it around the block and set it normal. That looks a lot closer to normal. Now it's time for my quick and dirty home camber check. In order to check camber, I need an inclinometer. In other words, a gauge that will allow me to measure the angle. First, I thought I'd buy a commercial inclinometer. I actually found there's a pretty reliable inclinometer built into my phone. In this case, it's a Google Pixel 5. But what I do need to do is to attach this to a straight edge that I can use both for my calibration and to hold up against the wheel. As an example reference calibration, I'll show you the phone and its holder sitting on top of my bubble level. All we need to do is push the calibration button, and we see that the app calibrates and gives us a 0 reference. Going back to the main screen, it's now showing 0 degrees. I've got a straight edge set up on the floor right in front of the tires. It's sitting on blocks on both sides to provide a level reference across the surface the tires are sitting on. I'll use this to calibrate the inclinometer, using the same procedure I showed on the bench. I can see there's a few tenths of a degree difference between the original reference and the floor, but after calibration, we're now setting the floor as the reference for all further measurements. Now let's move on to each of the wheels. Starting with the driver's side, putting up against the edge of the rim, negative 0.5 degrees, negative 0.5. I'm consistently getting about negative 0.5 degrees, no matter where I place it on the rim. Checking from the other direction on the same wheel, positive 0.4, positive 0.4, and now on the passenger side, 0.3, 0.4, and from the other side on the passenger side, negative 0.5, negative 0.5. These measurements indicate positive camber. In other words, the tops of the wheels overhang the bottoms. A sanity check looking down the side of the truck confirms this. Note the front wheels are at the far end near the open door. Now this was inconsistent with what I've seen a few minutes ago when I was test driving the truck. Looking again down the side of the truck, this time with the front wheels near the camera, shows negative camber. So I moved the truck back and forth and measured a total of 3 times with the inclinometer facing both forward and reverse in each case. I've noted all these measurements in the table shown. So all of the measurements are within the range of spec coming out of the Tracker service manual, but they are close to the lower limits. Note that I do have the ability to increase camber with the adjustment bolts as I installed as a part of the lift. You can see that the top bolt holding the strut to the spindle is different from the OEM one at the bottom. I'm going to check the camber again after I do some more mods. I'm planning to add some more weight to the front of the truck with a new bumper and winch soon. I'm going to rechuck it then and make any adjustments at that time. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to check out my other videos on keeping the Sidekick running well and some of the mods I've made. And if you found today's video useful, please consider subscribing. You can support this channel for free just with your subscription. Take care. We'll see you soon.